Welcome back, knitters. I'm Jana with Purl Together. This month we're doing a lot of videos about Fair Isle techniques because we're currently doing the Mackin for the MRI knit along over in my Ravelry group. Go check that out. If you buy the pattern, the proceeds from all the pattern sales go toward the Shetland MRI appeal. So this is a fundraiser for the people of the Shetland Islands to obtain an MRI scanner. You can read more about that in the description down below. So check out the pattern. This technique video is going to be all about the corrugated ribbing. So it's just a short little technique video to show you how I'm knitting the corrugated ribbing on the Harriet's hat pattern that I'm doing, which I purchased from the MRI Maakers. It's a really beautiful pattern for a Fair Isle hat. You'll definitely want to get a hold of that. Before we get started, I want to give a public thank you and express my gratitude to my newest patron, Elizabeth Clendenning. Thanks so much for your pledges support. If you want to know how you can support Purl Together, go check out my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Purl Together. This is the beginning of the pattern for the Harriet's hat, and it's a 2-color ribbing, and so you start with the knitting, and normally with Fair Isle corrugated ribbing, the knit stitches are going to be in the contrasting color or the pattern color, and then the background is the darker color in this case, and this is the purl that is in my dominant hand. And so I go in as if to knit, and I'm, awkwardly knitting. I don't knit continental very well. And then I have my regular purl stitches like normal. Now the reason that this ribbing is not as elastic or stretchy as traditional 2x2 knit 2 purl 2 ribbing is because we're carrying across our colors. And so you can see the floats in the back there as I carry those across the back whenever I change colors. So they're not as elastic, or the stitches are not as cohesive when there's those floats carried across the back, across the 2 stitches that are the alternate color. So corrugated ribbing just refers to a 2-color Fair Isle in which the floats are carried across. And then sometimes you'll also see a mock ribbing, which would be just knit. It's all knitted, but it's like these stitches, instead of being purled, would be knit. So it'd be knit here, knit, 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 but in the alternate color, so it still looks like ribbing. So we're going to carry on and do this for several more rows. I prefer my little awkward way of doing the knit stitches. Now, if you're a continental knitter, or if I were better at this, then I would hold that yarn on the opposite and pick it through like that. Now, pro tip here, don't forget to bring your yarn to the front when you're purling. And then more importantly, after you purl those 2 stitches in your darker color, make sure you take your yarn to the back, because if you don't and you forget, then you'll end up doing these 2 knit stitches in this way, and you're like, oh, whoopsie. And then you have to either tink those back or just move them back over. Take your yarn to the back and then proceed. Now, one thing that's happened to me very frequently as well is I'll be going along here just fine, and I'll do my 2 purls, and I'm on autopilot because I've done so much 2x2 ribbing in my life, in my knitting life, that I'm on autopilot, and I'll immediately go to knit the next 2 stitches with this color yarn instead of remembering, oh yeah, I need to knit those 2 in the contrasting yarn. All right, now that I'm further into this, I'm on the 10th row of this corrugated ribbing, and you can see how cool that looks. Also, you can see the inside, how it looks to carry across those floats every couple of stitches. So it's tidy. And this also adds insulation. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Okay, I hope you found that little technique video helpful. One thing I realized, I said in the video, I said, pro tip, don't do this. And I realized the only reason people are professionals is because they've made a bunch of mistakes. So as you've realized, no doubt, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I make lots of mistakes, and I try to let you know about them so you can try to avoid them and learn from the ones that I make. So I hope you found the video helpful. Give it a thumbs up and check out what I'm offering over on patreon.com. Thanks for watching.